Do you have 2 legs, 2 arms, 1 head, 5 senses? Are you Homo sapiens sapiens? Well, then we have something in common. Oh, why don't you come on in here, grab a beverage, and open up your ear holes and get ready for some empathy and imagination. My name is Aubrey Cloutier.
And I am Drew Clark. I would like to acknowledge you for taking the time out of your day to listen to the podcast for empathy and imagination. We would like to let you all know if you would wish to contribute to this podcast, you can do so by going to patreon.com/empathy and imagination, and you can contribute there. Or you can go to YouTube, throw us a thumbs up, a comment, or a share. Appreciate you so much. This podcast is brought to you by clarkpoolspa.com. If you have any pool, hot tub, spa, fountain, pump-related issues in the Contra Costa County spanning from Crockett to Alamo, they can solve all of your problems. Regular service, routine maintenance, pump upgrades, filters, solar, everything you need. So clarkpoolspa.com for all your pool needs. This podcast is also brought to you by Zeist.net. Zeist Digital is your one-stop technical shop. All the things you need: networking, system upgrade, hardware, software, web design. Zeist, Ziced.net. That's Ziced.net for all your technical specification needs. And of course, our favorite sponsor, Final Corp. It'll be fine.
It'll be fine. Thanks, Final Corp. Thanks, Drew. If you want to give us a call here, the number is 510-859-4173. That's 510-859-4173. Give us a call if you have something to chime in on our various topics.
Chime in. All right.
Okay.
Well, we have a very special guest today. Everybody welcome Neal. Neal, welcome to the show.
Hey. Hello.
Hello.
David,
Thanks for joining us.
Being here, and we'll get to you in just a moment.
Right,
let's start with the check-in. Should I go, or do you want to go?
Not much on my check-in.
Yeah? You go first.
Well, as you know, my dad's in the hospital.
How's he doing?
He's doing the same, which is slowly worse.
Really?
Than ever.
Mm.
So that's kind of tough.
I hear that.
There was end-of-life discussions.
Oh, wow.
Which is kind of heavy to think about. You know, one day you're walking around and you're hale and you're healthy. And it's like, okay, just go in for some heart surgery. Then you go in for some heart surgery and everything is fucked. And to think that would be your last days, would be 4 months in the hospital with probably a roommate that you don't like.
That sounds shitty.
It's hard to not think about how shitty that existence is. You know, to think one day, oh yeah, I'm just gonna, I'll get back to my photography or my poetry or whatever. And then the next thing you know, you're just on the slow fade out part of the track. So, I mean, the doctors are optimistic, so I'm hoping that he'll pull through, but it's tough to just think about it.
Yeah.
Anytime you think about, I mean, this is obvious, but it'll bum you out, man, thinking about death.
Oh, yeah.
Especially thinking about someone you know who's just sitting in misery, you know? But he's a fighter, so I'm hoping things will work out and things will get better there. So that's a bit of a bummer, but it's the truth.
How's that feel? How are you feeling? What are the feeling words you have?
It feels, I don't know, feels like I want to be there to do something. I feel powerless. That's what I feel.
Powerless. I hear that. Yeah.
Which is a great feeling sometimes and a shitty feeling other times. It's one of those feelings that has both.
We had an episode about that, I think. Yeah.
in the throes of an orgasm, it feels great to be powerless, right? But in the throes of other things, it feels like shit. So I'm feeling, just a little out of it because I've been thinking about that a lot.
Wow. I really appreciate you sharing.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
So, my coping mechanism is to like make jokes and be silly.
Well, I'm glad we're here together.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Other than that, going into the studio to record May 8th and 9th, 7th and 8th.
So, that's awesome.
Which is pretty cool. Light rail in the city.
Yeah.
Never been there. Don't know anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's pretty cool. It's exciting.
That's awesome.
It's like a pro level studio, the works. So that should be fun.
Cool.
So
right on. Hell yeah.
Basically my check-in.
All right. You checked in there? All right, he's checked in. Dude, thank you. Okay, I'll go next. So, yeah, let's start with music. A lot of you know Nilotep, my long-running black metal band. We did a single in the studio, and now it's being mixed, and it's sounding really cool. I'm feeling good about it. It's sounding any closed circle people I show it to, they're pretty blown away with how the music's going.
Nice.
They're like, "Whoa, it really pulls you in." And I'm like, "Yeah, cool. That's the idea." It's supposed to be very emotive, and I feel like we've really hit something with this Nilotep single. So I feel empowered. I feel heard. I feel seen. But it isn't even out yet. So, of course, we're going to drop it like the hottest fucking potato on this show. As soon as we have mix and master, you guys are going to savor the flavor of Nilotep's new single. You'll be one of the first to hear it, honestly, here on the show.
You recorded it here?
Recorded here at Gradient Studios, and it'll be mixed probably at the bunker, which is 50 feet that way. And then we're going to master with someone else.
Huh.
And then we already have
That's
a couple other songs to do, man.
Cool.
We're gonna our hope is probably maybe every couple of months to drop a single until we have basically an album, something like that. We'll see. I feel good about that. Of course, everyone, I dropped the good news. My wife is pregnant. That's still going well.
Good.
I'm feeling good about that. The father feelings, they're slow ramping. I can feel, like this slow feelings build, where it's like it sort of feels like a little bit on the other end of what your check-in was sort of about.
A disturbance in the force.
Well, it's like there's
in a good way.
Yeah, there's definitely some kind of exchange, something happening. This new life coming in, fear of death. It's I don't know. I have no answer for that, but I'm noticing it feels like there's some relation there. But yeah. See, how am I feeling? I'll go generally good. It's there's the pool business. There's a little more repair work going on. We got. It's not. I'm not quite swimming in the dough, but it's not destitute. It's hell of a lot better than Sullivan Waterworks. Whew.
I'm surprised that you guys recorded Nilotep here. I feel like there's a lot of pushback when I suggest recording here with guest speakers.
Mm-hmm. I think the pushback mostly comes from the other main member. Because we had a really successful recording sesh here, and we did it in like a 40-hour intensive. He just stayed the night here, and we just powered through.
And you guys didn't even use the
big interface?
The Motu.
No.
Okay.
No. Yeah, so I guess...
So I guess the guest speakers kind of pisses me off.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah.
Maybe we got to talk about that, too. Well, that's my check-in.
We had some good shows, though.
Let me finish
your check-in.
That's it. I'm checked in.
Checked in.
Let's bring the mic over to Neal. Neal, you want to check in? How you feeling, man?
I'm trying really hard to always look at the positive things in life, right? It's a good lesson to do. So,
right on.
Something really cool happened the other night. My daughter, who's 15 years old, came in and asked me to sign a permission slip so she could run for sort of a student committee position.
Oh, cool.
The first time ever she'd shown any interest in doing something like that without any kind of prodding. I told her it would probably be very frustrating, but it's very important. So who knows? Maybe she'll be a senator someday, and she can support me in my old age.
Okay, right
cool.
on.
I was encouraging Drew here once upon I don't know, last year or something, to get involved in politics.
He was
because he was complaining about something about politics, and I was like, well,
Well,
there is a solution. You
just
could
join,
get involved.
yeah. That's not a no in the future, but let's
Yeah.
get the check in here. How else are you feeling? What else is going on in your? What do you feel like sharing?
Well, that was pretty much it.
Okay,
I'm
cool.
excited to be here. I've not seen this before. You guys have an impressive operation.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So
Thanks.
I'll try not to screw it up.
Yeah, it's hard to because there's no net value. So
It screws itself up a lot of times.
yeah, it'll crash just plenty on its own. Cool.
You'd live here in Crockett?
I live in Hercules.
Hercules.
Yeah. But he's going to move to Crockett, I think,
I
this
hope so.
summer.
Yeah.
Right?
Hope
Mm.
to get a little place out here soon.
Cool.
Well, is that so? That's your check-in. You're checked in for now.
I am checked in.
Can we
Thank
ding
you.
him?
Let's ding him.
All right. Well, Neal,
Check.
thank you for being here. And, I'm always excited to have local Crocodites on the podcast. I think there's lots to learn. I think there's special things about. I know, obviously, you don't live in Crockett, but you're a frequenter of Crockett life and of the Toots establishment and of here at Gradient. And I got to talking to you, and something that was really interesting to me, and I'd like to give you the mic a little bit to explore, and we'll banter and interrupt, is I want to talk to you about why you started the open mic night at Toots and what that bore out of. And, why'd you start the open mic at Toots?
Because at the time they didn't really have one. And I wandered into Toots one day several years ago and found a family practically. The people who work there are great people. But more so, I'm a musician. They've got a great stage and a great sound system there, good lighting system. It is a terrific place for local bands to play. So to me, it became sort of a local pub, like you'd have in Ireland, a place where, if you're not busy Friday night, you can go down and you can catch a lineup of 5 great metal bands from Sacramento.
Yeah.
That's a great thing.
Mm-hmm.
But hanging out around there for a while and getting to know a lot of these musicians and promoters and the staff, you realize there's a hell of a lot of really talented people in this area specifically. Going back to the days of punk in the East Bay and everything, there's just a lot of really talented people around here. Not just musicians, but artists and writers and, you name it. And I always thought it would be really cool to have a scene, sort of like Woodstock West, where someplace like, for me, it's Toots Tavern because it's got a venue.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have an open mic night, you might get someone who, is working at Home Depot and Hercules by day, but might be the next damn Bob Dylan.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's important to have a soapbox up there on a stage, and I hope more people go out and we create a big network of a flourishing artistic community.
That's cool.
Sounds great.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I've attended the open mic a few times, and I even practiced to perform some stuff once, but my wife heard it and she was like, "Yeah, don't do that."
Really?
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Well, because
Was it like
it?
naked performance art or something?
well, close.
Yeah,
It
we don't know
was.
the
It was
details
musically
here.
naked, because I play in multi-member metal bands, and I'm like 1/4 or 5th of a very extreme production. If I try to do my 4th, it's just really weird.
Right.
It's so you can't really connect with it. There's all these pauses. It's like it's really weird.
Did you have like pre-recorded backing loops and
No.
tracks?
No, I just was gonna go with an acoustic and do some Nylotep songs with the acoustic, but without it
Oh, I
just
see.
with missing all the other melodies and everything else. It just was too weird, and it was a bummer representation of the music. So it was like, well, am I just
Yeah.
gonna hit a hand drum by myself or yell at something?
So it's like a pale fire compared to the actual music.
Yes, well
Yeah.
said, well said. Do a lot of people feel that though, right? You feel that.
I do, growing up like in the 60s and 70s, you get kind of tired of the acoustic guitar and the singer
Yes.
and the lack of variety.
Adult-
I hate,
Adult contemporary singer-songwriter.
right, who I adore. James Taylor, I
Bob
love
Dylan.
those guys. Yeah,
Yeah.
but after it's a more limited medium or something like that,
Yeah.
performance for sure. However, don't underestimate the vast power of getting up there as a person in a quieter setting and really connecting with people. They may have heard the song a million times and they may have heard it through, 10,000 watts of amps, but hearing it stripped down, and some bands do a really good job of it, you can really like connect with people that are there.
Yeah.
They, you might think it's weird, but it might like really resonate with somebody.
I agree. I think despite your wife's protestations.
Hmm.
Might be a good idea just to try it out.
So you just do it anyway?
You know, if there's pauses in the music, maybe you could throw in some stand-up comedy bits.
I was thinking about beatboxing over the acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
You know, I had that thought.
I mean, if nothing else, it just gets you some exposure and some practice.
Yeah.
You touched on something else, which has actually been my struggle, because I'm a songwriter, and I've been trying to perform at the open mic as like the singer-songwriter. You know,
The open mic you started.
Yeah. There's a little conflict of interest there. I understand, but no, I'm trying
You
to.
should
get better
book
at-
yourself.
I've been a musician for a long time, and I've played in bands a lot. But I was the bass player, and I'm very comfortable standing.
But I was the bass player.
Meaning not in the spotlight. You know, comfortable
Sure.
being like behind the lead singer and the lead guitar player, standing
Right.
next to the drummer, and you know that I'm okay with that. But when it's just you standing there with a guitar and you are responsible for all of the attention, there's just something weird about that. I think it's just being used to being a sideman for so long.
Yeah.
And it's just you, and it's not so much fear. It's just kind of like almost guilt. Why are you wasting your time just watching what I'm doing when there's a jukebox right there with Leonard Cohen on it?
Well, that speaks to, I think, something about the performer then, about not wanting to take up the space that clearly has been set there
It's
to
a
take.
habit, too. It's associative habit.
Right.
You are used to being the bass player standing next to the drummer.
Right.
I stand next to the drummer so I can see the bass drum foot go like this and try to synchronize
We do
what
it
I'm
very
doing with
well
that.
together,
Yeah,
Aubrey.
no,
You and I
that's-
do that very well. Just going to say.
But yeah, when I play guitar songs, I'm like, I kind of feel like a fraud almost. Even though I wrote the songs on guitar, I kind of feel like I'm not a guitar player.
Oh.
You know,
I don't think that's
which is
uncommon,
it's a
though.
dumb feeling. It's but there it is.
You know, there are a lot of those people, like the drama kids in school. They're just hello. You know, they're great at that stuff. And I figured, if you're not born with that, why even try? You know? Is it something you can learn?
Well, no, there's so many amazing artists like Bob Dylan who are introverts.
That's true.
And they just were
don't
pushed to do
perform
it.
anymore. Andy Partridge of XTC, just screw this. I'm not playing live anymore.
Playing live is a lot of fun. I mean, in bands, like
Yeah.
we just did that recently, and it was especially the first show was really fun. But
Like I consider myself a pretty shy guy, but when I get on stage, it's almost like there's another, like an alter ego, is more easily accessible or something, Because I wasn't a theater major, I'm not very
Right.
flamboyant and stuff, but
I always envied those people, though. You know, who just
yeah.
mind just getting up and doing a solo anytime.
you never did theater in high school?
Not really. I played in the band. You know, like when we do musicals and stuff. You get to hide in the pit.
Right, right, exactly. Yeah, I never did theater either.
I did. I did as much as I could in high school. It's pretty small troupe. We did a lot of filming. We made a bunch of short films, and then we did 2 different plays. One of them we filmed.
Mm.
It was cool. Yeah.
I highly recommend it. I mean, it seems like a great thing to do. A lot of people take acting and improv classes for a variety of things, like musicians and stuff.
Mm.
Yeah. So what's your musical world? Tell our audience, like, what do you sound like musically? Could we even pull something up you've recorded that's online, or
No.
what's that world? Just talk to us about it then.
No. You know, when I was younger, I was active and played in a lot of bands. I guess rock, you know, the time the music that was big was like grunge bands like
You're like a
Sound-
grunge guy?
I was.
Wait, what year were you
sort
born?
of, 65.
Okay.
So I'm about the same age as Kurt Cobain, but that was I like that, shook things up a bit. But I like all kinds of music. I think music, you know, as a little 3-minute art form or whatever, is just a great thing because anyone can participate in it.
Yeah.
You know,
We
you can't
wrote a
participate-
song. We wrote a song on this show as
Yeah.
an episode one time. It was really fun.
Really?
Yeah. Keep going. Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, that sounds cool. When you do it again, let me know. I can play triangle.
We might do it today, man. Who fucking knows?
It is like music so ephemeral, but it is like a little moment in time captured. It's like a way to capture emotions
Yeah.
in a very almost the best way. I mean, I think film does it too, but with music, you don't have to associate a certain face or something or a certain landscape with the sounds. You can. There's more room for your imagination when listening to music. It's like a magic spell. That's how I look at it. That's how I look at music.
Music is super much a spell. It's super you putting a spell on the people listening. Like
on yourself too.
I had that experience when I was playing this song for the people. I told Jim the story how it started. He was like, "You got to tell Chris the story." So I told Chris the story, and they were just like silent. I feel like Evan and I put a spell. It's a good spell. I feel good about the spell, and that's a really good metaphor for it. You write spells too? You said you're a songwriter.
Yeah.
Can you what sort of song might you? Is there an artist you might compare it to that, or like what's the world there? What's that maybe sound like?
Well, I don't know. I kind of put it down for a while after getting married. So, but at the time I was mostly experimenting a lot. Couldn't decide if I wanted to be Tom York of Radiohead or, you know. But now I'm starting to write music, and I think you would probably sort of call it like protest music, but kind of pro-worker, pro-sanity, kind of like maybe Woody Guthrie with a deeper voice and a little more frustration.
You got your bass tones going on.
Yeah, I'm trying to do Johnny Cash whenever. Yeah, no, it's only
good.
because of this mic. I really sound like this.
His normal speaking voice is this.
But I guess that there's not. I actually like singers with lower voices too, and I think so I don't
Right
know.
on.
We'll see. I'm coming to the next open mic. I'm going to play some originals.
Is
Cool.
that a fact?
When is the next open mic?
Or my name is an Orville Redenbacher.
Wait.
Four
And I'm a
Zeros
Chinese
just
jet
came
pilot.
out.
Did you just promise to play an original
I
song?
don't believe I
next
used the
month's-
word promise.
Okay, well let's. What did occur? Is that going to happen?
I hope so. I've been very bad, and I feel I've got to do it. It's
Well,
part of my
I'm-
personal
it's a-
growth.
Well,
It's-
when's the next open mic at Toots?
It's the second Monday of the month.
Second
So
Monday.
May like
8th, 9th,
Yeah.
10th, something around there.
somewhere.
But there are a lot of great performers there. People you get a
Oh,
variety.
super talented people.
We
poetry.
should all move to Crockett.
Well, yeah.
I like Crockett.
Just move here, man.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
You can rent the studio. Fuck it.
There's not like tent cities on the streets and people
Everyone
shouting at me, shouting at the world.
Everyone says hello,
Insanely.
and it's like, "Are you okay?" Like that's the vibe.
Right.
It's hello, and
No
are
one's
you okay?
like-
Cool.
No one's like trying to fight you, being
Doesn't
hostile,
happen.
swearing at you.
Cops
giving you the
don't
middle
come here.
finger.
Right.
The streets
That's
are
good.
too
Those are
narrow
good
to
things.
drive fast on.
Yeah.
They're too narrow. You can't. And if someone does, it's really awkward.
Everyone's too busy saying hi to each other to drive fast.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, hey. Oh, hey. Hey. Hey.
Even people you run down on the street, they're just in traffic. Hey, come on. Ah, you hit me.
I love the J&L market, you know? It's just like, I love the produce section. It's like the black dot and the white of the yang symbol is the produce at J&L market. It's fucking terror. It's just a joke.
Yeah.
It's like basically plastic covered in chemicals. And it's been colored with colors, too, some of it. It's just a terrible little sad little thing. I grow better vegetables than they sell at J&L Market. Like, I could put my vegetables in J&L Market.
make a
People
deal
would
with them.
probably buy them.
You should say, hey, your leafy greens are wilted.
This
I'm
shit's
right up the
nasty.
road.
Yeah.
You can just buy them from me.
Yeah, I'll fill this thing up, man. That's a good
I'll
idea.
invoice
All
you
right.
later for
Thank
that.
you. Yeah, thank you. Please invoice me for that great idea. Oh my gosh.
There's you know that phrase that saying, like, you go 45 minutes outside the city, and you're in like the boonies or whatever.
Yeah.
Crockett could be just a town in New Hampshire. The same kind of thing. Same kind of vibe, you know.
I
There
think
are
there's
these places. There are these places that are really cool that are all over the place. All we ever hear about are the metropolitan areas,
Berkeley, San
the
Francisco.
nexus points of like political and tech
Well,
bullshit.
Now,
But there are just
money.
real people living their lives, wanting to hear Bob Dylan at open mic night
I think
all over the country.
there's a proximity Goldilocks zone, just like us from the sun. Like the center
I like
of
that.
the center dot is in the financial district of San Francisco.
That's the sun.
That's the sun. And then the Goldilocks zone is some certain mile distance from the center of the financial district in the city. So if you
right,
get
right.
too far away, it just starts to lose
wilderness.
touch.
You get too far away,
with
it's
the people.
wilderness. It's
If you're too
unlivable.
close, it's too tight. Everyone's tense. There's traffic, and you see it. So you got to get in between in the Goldilocks zones, right? That's what I'm
Is
talking
that
about.
where Crockett is?
I think so.
Yeah. I like that.
I think also Alhambra Valley in general is in the Goldilocks zone. I want to own land out there. There's 2 acres for sale for $300K right now on Alhambra
we
Valley.
bike through there all the time.
It's how you want a famsh there. Why wouldn't you want your famsh on Alhambra Valley Road?
Right.
That was such
There's
a good
land
tangent.
there available?
2 acres.
Is that where Pinole Valley Road goes through east? Like to
No, it's more.
Martinez?
It's more north than that.
Okay.
It's like the next north, east to west going road. That's not Highway 4.
It's mostly undeveloped.
It's like
There's-
cattle lands?
Yeah,
there,
there's
right?
horses and ranches
Horses,
and open
cattle.
land and stuff, and it's
Let's
around
crowdfund
Briones.
Fuck it, man.
What?
Do it.
Let's crowdfund it. We need a podcasting ranch.
Well, we do because my garden, which we
Hell
have
yeah.
a garden update today, of course, didn't mention that. We have video to prove
Good
it.
to know.
We could, if you just see what I can do here, I can do that way more if
Right.
you give me more space, man.
Yeah.
And I could feed people.
And then the economy of scale kicks in, and you're set.
Yeah, and we could feed people, and we could have nice podcasts. We could record bands. We have live shows. It'll be great.
All right.
Center for Empathy and Imagination.
So, GoFundMe, no, Kickstarter.
We have to make a whole new video for that. If that's what we're doing.
Kickstarter.com/empathy and imagination.
I think we need to be already giving food away to the community or selling it or something. I think we have to, before we ask for the money, we have to already be getting some or something.
You get a grant.
What do you
have
what's
a
it?
little bit of affordable housing on there for people in transitional periods.
Oh, like a
who,
camping
got laid off and
zone.
need to get
How
on their
about
zone.
camping hybrid?
There we go. Okay.
Or maybe tiny home village
with,
or
you know,
something?
bathroom facilities? And
Well,
Yeah, you could say, I'm actually going to conserve this part of the land. I'm not going to use it. It's going to be conservation land. And I'm going to do low-income housing.
Oh, shit.
So-
there we go. Both
And,
angles.
and it's going to be farmland. It's going to be, it's going to give back to it's going to produce. You're set.
and a podcast.
If you could convince them,
Oh, yeah. We'll
if
have
you could
this.
convince them that you're going to do that and follow through on that stuff,
I could.
you
We
could say
do
like,
that.
yeah, just buy the, yeah.
I have measuring tape. I can measure shit out and make fences. It'll be great. Yeah.
We're going to conserve this land. They would love that.
If we'd
And
set
they
off
would
a
love
spot.
the low-income housing
Yeah,
too.
it's like if there's a marsh
great
on the
idea.
land, we would fence it off, keep the dogs out, let the eggs hatch, all that. That would be cool. I'd love to do that anyway, to have a preserve, That'd be cool. That is the plan. It's just how do we make it happen? So we make it happen here as much as we can at Gradient Studios.
Does the United
And here we
States make
are.
it easy for that to happen?
It used to make it easier. It's less easy now.
But you've got the knowledge to do it. Gardening, brewing. You could have people up there to help out.
Hmm?
I'm thinking I spent some time in a kibbutz in Israel. You guys
You went to the
familiar with those?
kibbutzin.
I lived in a kibbutz for a couple of months.
They have
and
no violence there.
What is that? I don't know what that is.
It's
Yeah, please have a.
it's basically a commune.
It's a violence-free commune.
Well,
Gotcha.
they're different.
It's like communal living.
Yeah, after when they were developed after the Holocaust and they would develop these communities, it was sort of like everyone contributes to whatever the product is, and they were typically farms. The one I was on was mostly bananas, but some of them
Nice.
operate like rental boats on the Sea of Galilee and stuff. But they're collectives, and
Mm.
everybody gets a place to live, and there's a cafeteria where you eat and everything. The retired people get a little condo where I was. It was right overlooking the Mediterranean, and they would go and peel potatoes for a couple hours when they're 80 years old, still contributing. And
That's awesome.
it was pretty cool. And they would take in volunteers, people from other countries, and you just come in and you work during the day in the banana fields, and you're taking. It was kind of a cool thing.
And they
if
feed
you're
you
not-
and you sleep there and
you
stuff?
feed everything. You get a little stipend. They had a clinic. They had a little shop, and it was. If you're talking about people who aren't necessarily looking to make $1 billion in their life or
Dude.
want a place to lay their head for a
That's a
while,
boring
people don't
pursuit.
wanna do
That's a
that.
boring pursuit.
right?
$1 billion?
Right. But if you can go and live in a community that you've got a nice roof over your head and you feel part of it, and it was very much a tight-knit community. Everybody knew everybody. And it was kind of a cool thing.
I think we need to blend
That's cool.
labor of the land with automation and freedom from labor. I think those two need to speak with each other in some sort of harmonic way that might necessarily not be 50-50. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think so?
Because as we build these communes in the future, we're going to be automating a lot of this stuff. But if you automate it too much,
Right.
and you're totally disconnected, you lose some.
Well, I think
Use
most,
something.
like some things will probably never be automated. You know, like child care.
Yeah,
Things
yeah,
where
yeah,
humans
yeah.
are interacting with other humans, or like
Human care is not going to be
abstract
automated.
thought stuff, like producing
Yeah.
art,
Psychologists.
certain analysis.
A lot of televisions do daycare these days, though.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that with my
It's true.
kid. I'm going to
No, I
limit
know.
the
It's
hours.
Trying
It
to
depends
stay
on the
positive.
quality of daycare you want.
Yeah.
Empathy and imagination. Okay. This is the imagination part. Okay, so there's babies, and they're looking at screens, and what do we teach
And
them?
we
How to
give
grow
we give our
farms?
we give our BTUs to Facebook.
Yeah, you just
Give our units of
Sorry.
energy. We're consuming calories so that we can give personal information over to Facebook.
well. Why don't they
That's
supply
the new
us
matrix.
with the calories?
That's
then?
the thing. We're in the matrix already,
I know. It's sad.
but it's information. It's not so much actual body heat. It's fucking mediated.
A quick tangent is that the Neo of the Matrix, Keanu Reeves, lives a very interesting life now. You look at him now. He just rides the train normally, helps. Like, he just acts like he's not famous.
Keanu Reeves?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
just acts like he's not famous
Seems
and
like a normal
tries
dude.
to deal with everything normally.
Seems like a normal guy.
And it's like, people can't stop looking at him because he's acting normal. And it's like, dude, that is, I mean,
And
he
because he's
played
handsome.
Jesus in the new film about Jesus. And he just walks around like a normal person. People are like freaking out. I think The Matrix was a socially important film. Was to me.
It was a great film.
I think people saw a lot in The Matrix. I think I saw a lot of my life
It was a
in The
very
Matrix.
packed metaphor. A very packed metaphor and very well done
And
movie.
the fact that they had drugs and wild violence as like a main theme. And then they were like, let's make it cinematically brilliant and new. Let's put 500 cameras in a circle.
And then let's squander the potential in the next two movies.
They aren't as good as the first one, but I will watch them all in a row like a good American, and I
Man,
won't complain.
I don't think I would do that.
Oh man,
I'd
What
watch
do
the
you-
first
what
one
do you
and be
like?
like,
What do you think about the Matrix film? Like, tell me.
I love the first one. It was
Yep.
great. And I think I liked the second one, and I'm not sure I saw the third one.
Exactly.
Wow, that's probably right for most people.
The second one wasn't engaging enough to get you to want to see the third one.
And to be fair, I don't, since like having a kid and everything, there's a lot of movies I just kind of missed. You don't go out to. So,
Right.
You can't take babies to movie theaters. It's a bad idea.
yeah.
That's why I never go by myself.
To the movies?
Yeah. I don't want to bring a baby.
Oh man.
No, I love movies, but I'm so behind. I don't know what the most recent, movies are.
It's hard to keep up. I mean, they are still making great movies.
I'm still talking about Star Trek TNG.
Dude, that's still the best shit ever.
Oh, sorry, The Next Generation.
Yeah.
We insiders use TNG.
Well, let me tell you about current movies since we're on that topic. I watched the first 2/3 of The Shape of Water, and it was like, no, thanks, man.
What is that?
This is the film,
The
The
new
Shape
hot-
of Water.
the new hot movie?
Hollywood's highest rated. It's got the
Oh my
most
God.
Emmy nominations.
98% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, it's 98% on Rotten. It's got 99 Emmy awards. Like, it's basically Hollywood's dick.
1,000 Academy Awards.
And seriously, I watched the first 2/3, and it was like extremely difficult to keep my attention. And it was like low light, like you couldn't see very much. And the acting was good, but they started the film with tits. They're like titties, pussy, titties, pussy. That's how they started the film. And they sexualized. It's like they're like base instinct, pull in, and now you're hooked. And then super slow, very boring maid-to-maid interaction. And then there's a very bad fish suit guy who, instead of swimming, he sort of dances in the cage, and it's like awkward. It's like a musical movie. They're trying to make it like a play, but
Is
the
it a musical?
dialogue sucked, and it was overly sexualized in the beginning unnecessarily. Yeah.
You weren't a fan.
I'm really happy to be against this film, by the way, because everyone so loves it. So I get
Yeah, it's
another
good.
benefit. I get a
It's good
self.
to hear you trash something.
I'm like, ooh, I get this benefit of feeling like I'm righteous, and it just feels good. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe all the awards are right, but I think that movie sucks.
Cool.
Neal?
I have not seen it.
I haven't
Cool.
seen it either.
But I have also heard of some friends that I kind of trust their taste in movies, and they've said similar things like, I don't get what all the hype is about. So I will have to see it myself and figure it out. But
You know,
sounds like a good premise.
but is movies really how we want to spend our time?
If it makes you feel something, it makes you think.
I think story time reception is really
Good point.
important in everyone's life, or maybe in a man's life, because I don't know what it is like to be a woman.
People love story. People love
I
to
love
hear
it.
stories and tell stories.
And see them. I love watching story time. Like, Netflix really is comforting. It's super comforting to know that I can watch any episode of TNG on command.
Mm.
And right now we're going through DS9, beginning to end, and it's getting good. You know, and it's like,
right.
and it's just
Getting
like
good.
story time
Are
at
you
night.
like season 3 now? Season
Yeah.
2?
Late season 3.
It always gets good at like season 2.5.
Yeah, they
Almost
finally
most
pick
shows.
Up.
It's
Mhm.
like, okay, we
They
got
pick
past
up the
the first
story.
season. Then we got a contract for a few more seasons,
Let's make it work.
and they up their budget.
I think that's true. So yeah, story time's important, but like, I mean, we should do other cool stuff, right? Should. Wouldn't it be cool if we did other cool stuff?
Such as
A podcast? A bicycle ride? Which brings me to my next topic.
Okay.
So, I don't know if you know about this group, but one of the three of us doesn't know about the Bike Order Warriors. Oh, is it you? Oh.
Using deduction, yeah.
So, we got a little clip here, and you're gonna check it out. We're gonna watch it. He's seen it, and you're gonna check it out. It's just a random episode. Here we go. What do we got going on here?
doing some stapling
Okay.
surgery.
Little surgery. Got it. Cool. Tell me about your water bag.
Camelback is leaking
Ah.
pretty severely, so I got to go with the old trusty.
Bike Order Warriors.
Mounting hardware is fine. This is all fine. It's just the zipper is coming loose from the bag.
Well, it's cool that you're making it work.
Making it work.
Making it work.
You know, it probably tastes better too, because the Camelback sort of gives you a weird taste.
Like plasticky kind of?
Yeah.
So you're kind of looking forward to the better taste, but now you don't have the ease of the
Better
straw while
taste.
pedaling.
Yeah, less convenient. But probably less capacity too. So my other one was a liter. I think that's a little less. See you soon.
Here we are. Bike Order Warriors just arrived in Martinez. We're here at the, what's it called?
St. Catherine Sienna Cemetery.
Yeah, the Alhambra Cemetery is like over here. This is interesting. Bunch of dead people here. Yeah. How's that ride so far, Aubrey?
Feeling good?
Yeah. That trail was real nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Between Port Costa and Martinez, that bike trail is just dreamy. It's steep in some parts, but
That's all chicane.
and we get to surf a little, right?
Yep.
We're surfing. It's cool. So just a little break here on the way out to Mount Diablo. Just a little shady glade spot here in Pleasant Hill. Time for a little cuisine. Having a PB&J, and Aubrey is having nothing.
Water.
So I got my Bicorder Warriors clown look
Yeah.
today. A striped,
Can we get a side shot of that? Can we
striped
just get a
pants.
yeah. There we go.
This.
Yeah, we're like blue and yellow guys. Just got our provisions here at Slaveway in Pleasant Hill. Interesting little snacks, fun little place. We got our bags all packed up, full of stuff. Definitely no beer in there, is there? So far, we rode from Crockett to the north gate entrance of Mount Diablo. It's just real pretty out here. It's been hard though. There's been some steep spots, a lot of beautiful trail today. It's been a nice quiet trail ride today. So nice. We just love whenever we get trails, basically for bikes and pedestrians to share, because then it's all nice and stuff. Mount Diablo. Where we can sleep. Did you see him? There he is. Oh. It's okay, buddy. We're not your enemy. You're welcome here. It's your home. We're gonna hang here for tonight. Thank you. Good morning, day 2, Mount Diablo. We're here at our site. Funny thing, we didn't actually make it to Juniper Campground last night. Drew here was pedaling up this hill as much as he could, and then my legs began to cramp so much. I would give them breaks, drink water, eat a little something, take a break, try to go more. Even just pushing my bike up the hill became too much. And then just as we were about to go like, well, maybe we can, I don't know, what's gonna happen? We saw a sign for the group campsite, and we looked, and it wasn't reserved, and we camped here. So I'll give you a tour. Here's our campsite. Little bathrooms. That's the road up there. Get in here. There's a little fire pit over there. We've already got it all put away because it was a good idea to do so. But we hammocked here between these two trees here. Lovely view. Almost 180 degrees of city lights. All the way down there. So here's some breakfast cuisine. We got a boar's head ham sandwich, a little bit of cannabis, an orange. What do we got? Some Cheetos there, buddy. You got a little sandwich too?
Cheetos chicken sandwich. With chocolate left.
And then the camera freezes, and the descent down Mount Diablo is lost. Hey! Heading back to Crockett from Mount Diablo, and we have we have 2. What are they? Official
Tank complaints to
Yeah.
file.
We've got
I have
10
one to
complaints.
file.
I have 1, so that's 2 to file for the trip. Did you bring the paperwork, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have the app.
You have oh.
You can remotely log a tank complaint.
Whoa, was that a car? Well, it was, but it was a really weird one. And if you know anything about weird cars over here, it's a safe, better way. Being around all these fruit trees is confusing.
I thought we had to do it paperwork and fax it in. Is that not how it works?
I think we fax it in with a roll of toilet paper
Okay.
that we have to buy.
Damn it.
Tank complaint way.
Tank complaint. Okay, we just made it back.
Mount D.
Mount D to Crockett. Here we are, lovely Crockett, California. We have our little friend Ziggy here. Hey Ziggy, say hi. Hi. All right,
I
man.
think 57 miles off round trip.
Was it 57 round trip? And how many feet of elevation do you know?
Probably 3.
Probably 3 grand feet elevation. I'm tired. It hurts. But we made it. We made it. Where are we going next?
I think we're going to go to, I don't know, did we decide?
I don't know.
NAP, China?
Something good. It's fucking awesome. Bike Order Warriors? Yeah.
Bike Order Warriors. Thanks.
So
That was cool.
yeah, thank you. That's a short episode. I figured we could share a short one. That one's under 10 minutes. Obviously, I do that show, and it's pretty cool. I had this thought this morning. I'm really happy. I started writing again since my injury. Like, this is the second Saturday in a row I did the, coming Skyway and back, whatever route that is. And like already my body feels
Just a matter
so
of your
much
foot
better.
getting used to it.
My foot's fine. I hurt my anus, remember?
Oh.
Dude, I
I
tried
ever.
to poop too hard. And I like pulled or tore there's 2 straps that go around the favorite hole. You know, in the womb they build the asshole first and then it goes out from there because it's so important.
Your genitals
to
are
excrete
designed by a
waste.
committee.
It's like excreting waste is like number 1 function. So you build that first because that has to happen. So whatever else starts coming through the pipe, it needs to be able to get out.
Mm-hmm.
So you got that going. And I injured mine somehow, pooping too hard, I guess. I didn't have a squatty potty
Like
yet.
a poop hernia?
Yeah, like a poop hernia. But I didn't have any preparation
God damn,
lumps, I think I was careless with the pressure because I have a very powerful bottom end here. It's very powerful. And I think I just was like, fuck it, I'll just push harder. And then it was a mistake. So
That's cool that you
I
can
was-
just like willingly give yourself a hernia.
you can hurt yourself by just doing that. So I have a squatty potty now, and now I'm thinking about when I poop. Like, I pooped 3 times today, this morning, so far, and that's a lot. Usually it's 1 to 2, So anyway, I'm just kind of keeping track of
talk.
it, looking at them. Let's just talk about poop a lot longer.
Poop update.
Let's talk about poop.
Get the Clark
Neal,
pool update.
how do you feel about poop?
Clark Poop and Spa.
You didn't tell me this was a political podcast.
Right.
We,
Well, let's talk about you play bass. Is that right? You said you played bass guitar.
I did, yeah.
You did.
Yeah, I kind of took a hiatus from music after kids, mortgage, job, things like that. But bass is just the instrument that feels best to me. I can play guitar a little bit and play trumpet and stuff like that, but I just like the role that bass plays in a band.
do you have like a top 3 songs you like to play?
No, No, but I mean, as a bass player, I like old R&B, soul, Motown,
Right,
Atlantic
right.
Records
The grooves,
kind of stuff.
the groove stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
I hear
the
that.
ones I can play, but stuff like that.
Okay.
But I want to give a shout out. My daughter's playing bass too, although she's doing it for real too, in that stand-up bass and orchestra
Nice.
at her school. It's like she's already better than me.
I always sort of wanted to be able to play stand-up bass, but
I'm sure you could.
You could.
it's a lot. There's a lot there.
It's
But
just
a lot of your skill would transfer, I think.
yeah. You could.
Yeah, it would be more ear training, basically. I think.
I bet your bass guitar skills would increase if you played stand-up
Yeah.
bass.
How much do those go for? Like 800.
That's
Too
the
much,
problem.
Yeah. And
I
you have to
wa-
store it somewhere. It's like it's a lot. It's a thing.
You can't just get a cheapo.
No, you can't. It's like any musical instrument. You can get something for $99, but it's not going to hold tune.
Right.
There's nothing more frustrating than garbagey hardware on an instrument.
So what's the minimum for a stand-up bass that would hold tune? 900, 1,000.
I've been asking around a lot of bass players and stuff. I think the ideal, what I'm trying to do is find a bass player who has a mid-level bass they don't really use that much anymore and is selling it. But I think
I don't have any
you-
extra basses.
Yeah, I think you want to spend at least like
Do you own a
$1,000
bass?
to
Yeah.
get something of quality?
Something like
Electric
quality,
basses, yeah.
You own electric basses?
Yeah.
Do you want an acoustic bass too?
My daughter wants one.
Yeah. Stand-up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like buying a piece of furniture.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's like a
I mean,
piano.
you can get
Do you want to
loans
get the?
you're
Do
right,
you want to get
yeah.
the best
She
piano?
could have picked piccolo, clarinet or something, but
It's
no.
just vocals. She could have picked
Yeah,
vocals.
That's right. Damn it. It's
We'll
not
just
too
get you.
late for
We'll just
choir.
get you a mic. It's like $50.
I picked grand piano. No, I need like 10-story orchestra. That's my
Why weren't you a
instrument, Dad.
singer?
Well, at least you didn't want to be a drummer. Oy.
I know. Oy.
What's the most? Hey, Dad, what's the most expensive instrument to play?
And annoying.
I want to play that one.
Annoying to
Yeah.
listen to when you suck at it. For everybody. That's why there's
Yeah,
the TD50.
Violins like that.
Violin and drums are
Violin
good.
and drums are
Yeah.
the most annoying.
Yeah, someone who's learning violin, that's a hard sound.
So, in terms of learning an instrument, that your kid learning an instrument, I mean, bass is a pretty good one because it can be
it's
annoying,
simple.
but it's still like sort
It's
of
not annoying. Bass doesn't get
still
annoying.
in the background. It's not.
I
it's
don't
not
think it-
shrill.
Shocks
It's
on
not
the
shrill.
fingernails
Yeah.
on the
And with a
chalkboard
four
feel.
string, it can sound okay in a lot of ways. There's more good than shrill available, I
Yes.
think, with a 4-string bass guitar, electric.
This is true.
I've seen some acoustic bass guitar things, and I've never really liked the sound they make. I like the idea that we could go to the
Like
birthday camping trip that's coming up, and you could
an
bring it,
acoustic
and we
like
would,
this or an
yeah,
acoustic like this?
like this. Like you could play bass like you
Yeah.
do, but it's acoustic.
It's so hard to find one that really has a big sound.
They don't. They're
Works.
really
I
quiet.
don't-
Yeah,
It's got to be like a Martin. It means it's going to cost you $1,500.
right.
1,500 is to get that game. Sheesh.
Right.
Be
And
like
you
a
still want
kick-ass
it-
Martin or something,
And
and
you probably still want a good, clean preamp and an amp to put it
Totally.
through, so you might as well just play electric.
right.
A person I follow. Hey, watch out there. A person
Just
I
like,
follow
Stick with what you already had.
just did a video on that.
You already have a bass arbor. You don't need to get another one.
I just
Sorry,
saw this
go ahead.
video. It's okay. I saw this video. They're like cheap guitar, expensive amp. Play this riff, and they're like expensive guitar, cheap amp. Play the same riff. Like like 2 reps like this, and then switch it. And it was like back and forth, and then different riffs. It really. It was a flat obvious that what really matters is the amp. Your guitar just has to be playable for you, and that most of the sound is really coming out of the amp. And tonally, that's really what's going on. So everyone's like, "Which guitar is the best tone?" It's like,
If it's an electric instrument, yes.
yeah, the electric guitar, and
Stand-up
probably electric bass.
You want to spend $2,000 so that it actually has some projection power. It stays in tune.
I bought that guitar. It was the Laguna. They were selling for I think $699. That
It's a decent
one
guitar. I've
Yeah.
played that guitar. It's,
It's
pretty good.
It's pretty good, and the thing is, it plays like a $600 guitar. I happen to have spent $350 on it.
Also, the strings haven't been changed in like 7 years.
It needs fresh strings,
and it
but
hasn't
it's
been
sweet
set up, but
cleaned.
it still plays
No, it's been
pretty
set
well.
up for drop C. It's set
It
up
has-
for drop C. Yeah, it's all set. So is this one, but yeah, it definitely needs new strings. In any case, it was the wrong color, and they couldn't sell it. I wanted the purple one. I really did want the purple
So
flake
you got a
one.
discount.
Yeah,
It's a
because
running
it's the
theme.
wrong color.
Running theme with you purchasing
I'm
instruments.
just a cheapo. I'm a cheapo.
No, not that you're cheap. Just that like something happens with the guitar, and it's or the thing, and you get a cheaper price.
Yeah,
Like your
that is a
drums.
theme. That is what happened with the drum.
Not
I
that
did the
you're
whole
cheap.
video. Well, you know, I am looking. There's so much taken from us in so many ways, and a lot of it is fluff. Like a brand new car, you buy it at the lot, you drive it off the lot, you lose $4,000, and that's like stupid. So I just don't like inflated values,
Yeah,
falsely inflated value of items. That's it.
there's a lot of that.
It bothers me. Yeah. All right, guys. Let me bring this back for a second here. A few minutes ago, I showed you this video of the Bike Order Warriors, and I'm like, I have this idea, and I want to see what you guys think. So this is like pitch minute. I've been thinking about Bike Order Warriors and ways to make it have a more reach more people and have more people join us. We've had one guest on the show once. It's a very hard show to be on. It's like you have to train just to be on the show.
You're talking about someone actually going on a trip with you.
Yeah, we had
biking.
one person go
Someone,
with us.
someone going along with
Yeah.
us on this trip. Yeah.
And if someone wanted to do it with an electric assist, it's like you kind of, I don't know.
Okay, interesting. You would be
I
against
don't-
that.
I have a little hesitation. Like you kind of miss out on the self-reliance.
You could easily picture like you and I in Florida, and it's like a flock of like super elderly
Those
people
little
on
scooters.
the
Yeah, I can deal with a scooter. Yeah.
and we're just like we crest over the hill. It's you and I, and then you see them come over the hill. And
Squadron them.
they're actually going like 5 miles an hour. They're not actually going that fast.
But we're like like we do like 20, right? Oh my gosh.
And it's filmed like the 300, so it's all cinematic and it's like Sin City style cinematography.
Yeah, I can see that. Maybe it would be cool if you started.
That's your
doing
Senate
a
vote.
commercial.
That's your Senate.
Senate. Let's just start
commercial.
No, well, let's start with like mayor. Let's get me to mayor first, and then we'll go other stuff.
Yeah, councilman.
Yeah, just councilman. I'll be a councilman, sure. I'll tell you what the fuck's going
On
on.
the Crockett Council.
So in the world now, there are tons of new canna businesses. Holy shit, it's exploding! It's exploding. And it is a billions of dollars industry.
This is one of the harbingers of the golden age. We have massive marijuana flourishment, and Trump even gave Sessions a little slap on the wrist, saying, "Hey, let's not prosecute states at the state level. Let's actually
Did he really?
decriminalize marijuana at the federal level, bitch."
Thank you, Trump. I appreciate that.
And that could be good. So we have widespread marijuana acceptance
Mhm.
for recreational and medicinal
It's going to
use.
go federal. It is.
That's good. We get North Korea denuclearized.
Mhm.
We befriend Russia. Everyone's friends, right? Imagine that's the new golden age. Everybody's friends.
Mhm.
And we realize that the enemy is the loneliness of Earth, and that we have to go into space. And only together, with everyone working together, can we establish colonies on the moon, Mars, etc.
Beyond. I completely agree.
That's my golden age vision.
Dude, I love it. So, in that golden age vision, what if we were to take our minds and open them to go, how do we? I see connecting the cannabis boom of the Bay Area with the Bike Order Warriors because it's already there. It's already connected. What if we set up Canna Beer Bike Tour?
Canna bike.
It's a Canna Beer Bike Camp. Canna Bike Ear Amp. Help me.
Cannabis bike beer
Camp. Yeah. Cannabis Bike Beer Camp. So, I'm thinking we enter the world
Those are the
advertising
concepts.
to the cannabis community. as bicycle athletes doing something athletic together that's also camping that you also drink beer at in the appropriate hour.
And we're not spring chickens, so
No,
we
it's not a-
self medicate.
Yeah.
I use weed as a party drug on those trips probably once, and that's when we arrive.
Mm-hmm.
But up until that point, I'm using it medicinally, just
Yeah.
because there's pain
And
from exercising.
inflammation, and there's also like will. Like there's definitely when you're coming
Yeah.
home and it's windy and the sun's going down and you're like, I have a fucking 30 miles to go. It does help the
Wet.
will to have the brain kind of wander if you can't talk to one another, right? So that's my thought.
That
I'm
Petaluma
thinking
trip, that's what you're referring to.
Yes, you knew. That's what I saw. Gosh, we couldn't even talk to one another because the wind.
Wet,
watch that
wet
episode?
wind.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's a rough route, man. Anyway, we know we now have personal, non-Googleable knowledge of the truth about how to bicycle camp in the Bay Area. That's the knowledge we have. And what I'm thinking about is we don't necessarily charge money for this. What if we obviously would have to do a Facebook group for this or something like that. Because what I want to do is sell tickets, but the tickets are, I would say they have to start
Telegram.
at free. And with but the free is you agree to a contract. And this is the contract. Contract is something like, instead of necessarily having to pay money to come on the trip, we ask that the value you get out of it, you equally put back into it to make the organization more sustainable. So whether that be you have a link to a Twitter account with 30,000 followers and you share us in some special way, and then that's your contribution to the group, then that's what it is.
Peeling potatoes for an hour a day.
If it's like skinning rabbits or like, the thing is, I want to keep it open to how one could contribute to help it be more
Human
sustainable.
sacrifice.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
put that at the top of the brochure.
Right.
Whatever you want to contribute. Skinning rabbits.
Yeah, can
Digging
you
a
process
latrine?
rabbits? Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Have you been waiting for a place to skin rabbits? Finally.
So, okay, we'll back
Final
that off
quote.
a little
I think
bit.
that's a good idea.
Isn't that a cool
It's a good
idea?
idea.
But I want to advertise to the cannabis community because we medicate before, during, and after. I mean, it's like...
To the communities that we advocate, like cannabis, biking.
And we can demonstrate safe cannabis cycling, too, which we have for years. For years. So it's like... We can we can not only help the image of cannabis to show that we're not drunk on cannabis. It's different. We have our faculties physically, like
Right.
I would love to smoke and play basketball. That sounds like a lot of fun.
What are the laws for
Mm.
biking, and
There aren't any yet.
can't you be cited for like biking while drunk?
Yes.
Well, I think
You can't
intoxicated.
measure
can-
intoxication
So is
of
there
cannabis.
encapsulate-
DUI for any other kind of or not narcotic? You don't
I've only heard of a friend of mine back in Massachusetts who knew someone who was pulled over on a bike for being high.
What?
And
Really?
they got a DUI.
Were they riding like a weirdo?
Yes.
He was
But they
riding-
weren't drunk.
It was in a swimming pool.
Yeah,
But they
he missed.
said, yeah, so that's the thing. You can actually get cited, at least in Massachusetts you can.
you
for
could,
that.
if you were, I think,
But if it's
you were here-
decriminalized, isn't there a breathalyzer for weed now?
supposedly that's coming, but it's very expensive, and it won't be that accurate. So it's like it's coming, but not yet. It's going to be a while. I seriously think we need to have driver tests where we take new smokers and we take seasoned smokers and we large scale tests. I mean, tens of thousands of people on tracks to see if it's actually safe. Like, you could get a card saying I'm a canna driver, because your safety actually goes up in people who are regular cannabis users when they drive in many clinical studies. I think we should do more studies to make sure it's right.
I think so.
Bigger studies with
The
bigger
best,
groups of
the
people.
best studies.
The best. I want the best
Huge.
studies done.
Huge studies.
Huge. And then I think we should realize that it actually will increase safety in driving in some, if not most, situations.
As we prepare for self-driving cars.
Yeah, and self-flying pods, man. I want the point-to-point drone by Lyft, the new Lyft. They land in the backyard or the driveway or the street in front. You step in, the pod goes up, goes in a straight line.
I think that'll
to where you're
happen.
going,
It's
and it goes
just
down.
a matter of regulation's going to be such a son of a bitch on that one.
We're going to have to automate
Because roads
regulation.
are already regulated. It's
Mhm.
already very simple.
We're going to have to automate regulation. That's the only possible option. It'll be like you have a directional altitude, and it'll be a spiral.
And
so,
the federal government is just an AI program.
well, no, I'm talking about point-to-point drone delivery in the Bay Area for humans and
Right.
cargo. I think what it's going to be is you'll have a specific directional altitude. So if you're going to go, give me a compass
I see.
heading.
I know what you mean.
North, south, you might be. At
No, give me a
2,000
number heading, a direct number heading.
90 degrees.
90 degrees. So you're at 90. You're going to be at 3,110
Right.
feet.
Right. I understand the concept.
Okay,
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
And
it.
if every aircraft is registered with a certain profile or silhouette, I guess they call it. What's your silhouette height? Then you can just have very close lanes for each direction.
Just like in Back to the Future.
Because they would want to do that to optimize fuel. You know, it would all be super optimized.
That's what's funny about the Back to the Future thing is they had traffic in the sky and it was like, you missed the point. How do you manage?
That's the future we want to avoid.
Yeah.
We don't want to be driving around in the sky. We want
Traffic
to
in the
have
sky.
automated vehicles figured out before that point.
Traffic is one of the major human congestion points of our time. Like you ask anybody, traffic is a nightmare in their life,
More deaths per day than guns.
and
Where's
everyone
where's
hates it.
Where's the car
And
protest?
it makes us fight each other, and it's pointless. I was screaming out the window, "Fuck you! You cut me off!" It's like it sucks for everyone.
You know, I was thinking about that the other day. I was starting to think about situations where there's a high risk with zero or the low reward.
Okay, I like this. Is this like solar roadways?
And well, think about traffic. Think about like cutting people off and accelerating, doing weird, just trying to get ahead in traffic. Super aggro.
No thanks, bro.
The risk is super high, and the payoff is like almost nil.
It's like seconds, if that. You got any other things on that list?
It's hard to come up with something that's that stark of a difference.
Hmm.
You could say unprotected sex with, wood chipper.
Yeah, you don't have your iron condom on.
That's also
I'm pretty sure they have warning labels on
bad
those.
idea.
Do not have sex with a wood
This is
chipper,
for small
even
logs,
with a
for
condom.
small logs
Even
only.
with a condom.
Don't put your big old American log in there. Oh my gosh.
Low risk, high reward, or high risk, zero reward. Which do you choose?
High risk, zero reward. I want to
Eating a Tide Pod.
yeah.
Right.
No, there's a reward. You get social reward. Your friends
fractional
like it.
reward and taste or something. Tastes good for a second.
Should we blame Jackass for hurting themselves on camera and making that you get popular by doing that?
It's like my point is that that's part of our nature. It's
To-
to pursue things that are super risky,
Oh.
with that seem like they have no upside at all.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Like we're crazy,
Yeah.
and only through that craziness do we actually eventually evolve and learn shit, and somehow keep surviving.
Yeah.
We need the edge cases. We need the mega geniuses just as much as we need the complete morons.
But you don't want everyone to be a moron. You want most
No.
people to learn from the moron after
Yes,
eating
But
a Tide
let the
Pod.
moron live their life.
and I don't
though.
think if the morons
they can be
are
in the
ever-
swamp in Louisiana and just like picking their nose and farting underwater and then they can just have a good time.
If you eradicate
course,
the
kidding,
morons,
Louisiana,
you
I love
eradicate
you.
the geniuses. That's the thing.
You need both for the cycle to continue.
That's the truth of the curve.
Do you remember people saying in the past few years, like, oh no, they're worried. All these dumb people are fucking and creating huge hordes of dumb people babies, and they're filling Central and Northern California just to the brim of just like, oops,
I've never heard it put that
like Jerry
succinctly.
Springer explosion. I've heard people say that, like, oh man, so many of these quote dumb people are breeding like crazy. We got to get these smarty pants breeding. But of course, the more education you have, the less children you have.
Right.
And some might say that there's like even maybe a direct relationship between like either access to or given innately intellect or like IQ or something that would lead to less children or children later. Something like that.
Seems like the idea would be to try to be super smart and have as many kids as you can.
That sounds cool from a smart guy perspective because, Aubrey, I think you're
I'm
a
not a
smart
smart
guy.
But just in general, that would be a good that would be a good way to approach life.
Well,
no
like
matter
you
who
have
you
the
are.
three. Your three are magic.
What do you mean?
You know, you're three.
Scientific method, free speech,
Golden
the golden rule.
Mhm.
It's a pretty good starting point. If you were to establish a new civilization and you only had 10 words to give them on a slab of stone.
Free speech, scientific method, golden rule. That's pretty good. Yeah, I like that.
Would you want to colonize Mars? If you could go to Mars.
Yeah, are you ready
Would
to
you
go to
go?
Mars?
Me personally?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, hell no.
The ship's going soon.
I like long showers.
You were in the military a long time, right?
4 years.
4 years.
Yes, a long time.
Can you tell us a little bit
long
about
showers is a whole. That's a whole
No
topic. That's a whole
I
world.
did not take long showers in the military.
Can you
Didn't
tell
have
us a
time.
little bit about the military experience? Like, what was it like signing up? I know you can't sell everything, and I know I don't want to get you any kind of trouble, but I want to give you an opportunity to maybe voice some things that are worth sharing.
I don't know. I mean, most men in my family have been in the military, mostly drafted for some reason.
Vietnam.
World War II.
Was your dad in Vietnam?
My stepdad served in Vietnam, yeah. My father
Where was
in
he?
World War II. He was around,
What
Saigon.
year was he over there?
Mid-60s, right? Before the
Before it
Tet
got
Offensive,
crazy.
Before it got... But, you know, they were bombing
They were there
all the
since like
time.
50.
Yeah, it was like very early 60s, I think, when they started sending U.S.
The
troops
first,
over
I
there.
think it was. I just
Might
listened
be
to a
late
thing. It was
50s.
like
Yeah.
It was
thought it was
late 50s.
yeah, 50 something, 58. Crazy.
Ah,
We're so
just like
afraid
us
of
in
communism.
Afghanistan now.
Yeah.
Same deal.
We're afraid of communism, but it's like it's a weird. Anyway, I want to ask you about.
Well, no, I actually don't mind. I just found out recently. I knew my dad was in Vietnam, but he never really talked about it, and he always played it like he was sort of like Radar O'Reilly, like the base clerk,
Right.
you know, an admin kind of person.
It's a MASH reference.
That's what everyone says about their dads in the military.
They were radar.
That they were just, I just was off the side mostly, just kind of pushing buttons. I really didn't do anything.
But that's what we're told because I don't think they want to talk about what
Most of the
happened.
guys who were had serious stuff probably don't talk about it.
right?
Yeah, good point.
But my dad,
point.
he was in the Air Force, so he wasn't like in with a an M16 in the mud.
Right.
But he volunteered. It was the thing to do. You're young and you're dumb. You're like 18, 19, and you got extra pay if you volunteer for certain duties. And what he volunteered to be was a flare kicker. Now, I don't know if you know what those are, but those are like small twin-prop cargo planes that have these giant phosphorus canisters. And, you know, because it's dark in the jungle surrounding the city, if they think there's enemy activity, they send this little unarmed plane to fly over that area and kick out flares to illuminate the area so that our troops can engage them. But you're basically in this tin can flying over enemy troops. There's no windows in it or anything.
Unarmed.
And you're unarmed, and your job is to fly right over the enemy and, you know, illuminate the area and then hopefully get back. And sometimes they would get shot down and would have to, like, you know, go 10 miles through the dark jungle to get back to base. It's like, can you imagine the fear of being, you know, you get in that
No.
plane, you don't know what's going on, you get a signal to do what you're supposed to do, and ping, ping, you see bullets going through the fuselage. I mean, that's got to, like, mess with your head.
Vietnam
It's
was a scary
new
place.
levels of fear.
Yeah,
It's-
and he did let me know that he only did that as long as he had to. Once he volunteered and realized it wasn't worth the extra $20 a week or whatever they got back then for hazardous duty pay.
Fuck. I imagine, you know, it's one thing to have a dog come at you, right? That's the extent of the threat on my life that I've experienced. But to have another, you know, human thinking, breathing, person with a past history and all this stuff hunt you and want to kill you. That's gotta fuck with your head big time.
Yeah.
Did you fly planes in the Gulf War?
No, I served in intelligence, which was just like
Intelligence.
it's not as exciting as it sounds, but when they're about to go on a mission, the guy who gets up and says these are the defenses they have in the area. But I was pretty safe back on a base the whole time. We have a saying in the Air Force: we're smart. We send the officers out to fight because all the pilots are officers, and the enlisted stay back on base.
Wow. So you didn't see much physical hand. You didn't like punch any
I did
terrorists
not,
in the face
nope,
or anything.
I did not.
Was
I
there any
can't
kind of
claim
musical?
that.
Was there like a band, like a?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Wait,
A
did
lot
you
of actually very
participate?
talented people, like was it Waylon Jennings, Johnny Cash, Jimi
Mhm.
Hendrix. There's a lot of talented people in the military, and they do have like a music
Yeah,
program.
Did you participate in any of that stuff? While you were there?
Yeah, we did
Cool.
a talent show on the base, and I played in the house band, which was hard.
It was hard.
Yeah, because such a variety of people, and someone wants to go up and sing a Michael Jackson song, and you've got this ragtag crew of part-time musicians, like a guitar player who only knows how to play R&B, and a drummer who only really knows how to play hard rock, and you're trying to switch gears between these songs to back people up. It was challenging. It was fun. You have to do that. The military takes like morale very seriously, unlike a lot of organizations. So they spend a lot of time and effort with those programs.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's like the honorable bureaucracy.
Being in the
'Cause that's-
military. Yeah.
That's where bureaucracy started. Was
Mhm.
in fact at West Point.
That makes
there's
sense.
There's something admirable and to be respected about just the routine, the getting shit done, and like being there, the brotherhood, loyalty thing.
Team, yeah, like being on a sports team, but it's like life and death.
Right. It's like your nation's sports team.
Mm-hmm. Did you feel like that? Were you like, America?
No.
There are moments. I mean, the Air Force is pretty extraordinary, and I got to work with F-16s and F-16 pilots and B-52 air crews, and these are amazing people who are like some of the smartest people I've ever met. And I worked at UC Berkeley with professors, but these people are quite extraordinary to go out there and put their life on the line. And the F-16 pilots in particular, they're the only one in it. They're flying it. They're handling all communications, the targeting, defenses, navigation, and they're doing it flying 150 feet off the ground at almost 600 miles per hour. And it's just
Holy
extraordinary.
shit.
So it's hard not to, kind of get a Woody, as they say, over shit like that. I
Dude,
am
that's
overall a pacifist, but we have nice toys.
Dude, we have made some of the coolest shit. Like
Oh, yeah.
our fighter jets, whatever they mean symbolically,
I
just
lo-
look at them technically.
I love
oh my
watching.
god,
I love watching those videos. Of like
they kick so
American
much ass.
military badassness. Like
I love it.
I don't know if that makes me a bad person or
It's amazing
it's just
ingenuity.
fucking like okay. At least my taxes are going towards
Right,
something
yeah,
that's
that's cool.
entertaining. At least it's entertaining me.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it's keeping us safe too. Fuck.
And we could take that energy and those good people, and a lot of our big military budget is going to pay old Cold War debts and weird old places.
Yeah.
Most of it's going to that. I think we could scale a lot of that back, and we could focus the energy back in on the country for a while, rebuilding infrastructure. Like give the military make America cool again. Let the military come here and employ them and
Oh, yeah.
empower them to make this place better.
Yeah.
That's what I would want to do. Because it's an amazing force with great people.
For so long, wanted to not. We were non-interventionary or whatever you call it. We wanted to be neutral. We wanted to be like Switzerland. We're neutral.
Yeah.
And then
We had too much money.
whatever things got out of hand.
We realized it worked to act differently.
Yeah. If everyone could be friends, I know that's completely naive. World peace, man. But it's like we've just been in bed with Russia for so long. The stalemate has to break, and we have more interests in common than we do not.
Always.
And pretty much now we know pretty much everyone on the world has the same interests. So maybe war is just a thing of the past. There'll be little skirmishes, drone attacks and shit.
Yeah.
But there's not going to be like just millions and millions of people walking into the shredder.
Yeah. Sheesh. With the
Hopefully not.
possibility
That's the golden age.
of North Korea cooling off and the stuff with Russia cooling off, I mean, Syria's still under a shit pile. But with those big things cooling off at the same time, that feels pretty good. If you look at it that way, and I'm choosing to look at it that way.
Yes. It's a very interesting thing. We could have Trump get the Nobel Peace Prize
That'd be
and
fucking
be impeached.
That'd be fucking something.
If he actually earns the Peace Prize, I'm happy for him to have it. If that, I mean, that's a big deal about the Koreas, for damn sure.
Holy shit, man.
But
It's
I
a big
still
It's
deal.
worry
been an
about Russia.
intractable problem forever.
Well, is Israel next?
Solve the Israel problem.
Yeah. And
With-
if in his first term he calms down North Korea and the Palestinian-Israel border,
He
he's
already
going to be
moved the
reelected.
embassy to Jerusalem.
He's going to be reelected by people who vote for him. And that's
I don't know.
crazy.
I don't know, man. But it seems like he's got the negotiating talent, regardless of whatever else he does or doesn't have. He definitely has the negotiation talent to do these fucking literally world-changing deals. His whole life is deal making.
Let's hope he
honestly,
pulls
And
through.
always has been.
I don't think he had anything to do with the Koreas. I think
Think
they
it's
were
Pompeo?
just ready to do that for a while, and I think the fact that they were probably scared of what stupid shit Trump might do, they thought,
That
all right,
may
maybe it's
not
time
have
to
been
end this.
on accident.
That explains-
Because we have a treaty with
That
South
explains
Korea.
reality too.
We have a treaty. We're still technically at war with North Korea, and North Korea's army is twice as big as South Korea's. If they got into a war, it would be bad for everybody. It would certainly be bad for Americans.
It'd be very bad for
Draftable
South
age.
Koreans.
So I still haven't processed that stuff about Korea, because if that's true, that is freaking huge. That's worth having a party of the century over.
Yep.
But let's see
The
what
last
happens
antagonist
first.
on Earth.
But I wouldn't jump to give Donald Trump credit for it.
Sure,
I think
Hear
it was
that.
more
That's fair.
situationally he gets credit for it, because
Let me just say
Would you
that
come a little closer in on this.
the golden age. I mean, I don't know who's responsible for it, but it does seem like it might be obtaining.
I think many people are
We
responsible
might have
for
great education and the economy's great. Everything that people want is happening.
Is
Could
the
be.
economy great? Most
Isn't
people
it?
I know are struggling as hell. And it's nothing like it was for my parents, where my dad could work and my mom could be a stay-at-home mom. My grandpa, who was a
All right.
truck driver, would get a retirement. I'm not trying to be contentious.
No,
I
but
just
No,
think
no,
no, it's good.
Contentious
the
is good.
stock, The stock
good.
market is doing okay, and the rich people are doing freaking great.
Well, I just mean unemployment's it's at like an 18-year low for women.
Yeah,
Women's unemployment.
But they're part-time jobs with no benefits.
Okay.